Every great golf swing starts with one thing, the backswing. Get this right and you'll unlock effortless power, perfect rhythm and consistency you can trust under pressure. But most golfers make one or two simple mistakes that destroy their swing before it even begins. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build the perfect backswing step by step, so you can load up like the pros and strike the ball with confidence every single time. Backswing should be the easiest thing for a golfer to make. Unfortunately, we get led down many garden paths that usually end up stinking of manure. And the reason why is because of how golfers have thought about loading their body. Loading their body in a backswing in old money meant transferring weight. Keeping your head still, don't move. All of these garbage phrases that unfortunately have led in the main to golfers moving sideways, tilting to the left, having arm swings too steep with a crap grip, swiping across the back of the golf ball and slicing it out to the right. 11 down, 3 across and a left to right ball flight. Put yourself with a 5-iron or a driver and that thing is bending it off down to the local garden centre. So today I really want to show you how the modern day backswing is created. The modern day backswing that has lots of hip turn. No longer are we thinking about keeping the knees open and resisting our upper body. We're encouraging good hip turn, which will free up your chest turn. The left knee will kick in. The back will be to the target. And you'll be in a spot that when you come to pull the golf club on the way down, you'll be able to unload the club and start to change the way you create path lines and face to paths. Path from the inside, face to path closed, compression, energy, and consistency. I've got a drill that is going to change the way you feel your backswing, the repetition you can make your backswing, and ultimately that's going to free up your body to create as much speed as you can do. The Swiss ball is a fantastic bit of kit. If you haven't got yourself a Swiss ball and training your golf swing around it, you are absolutely missing a trick. So the Swiss ball is going to be placed between the wall and my lead hip. Now the reason why we want to use a Swiss ball over a chair, over anything static, is that they don't give you feedback and they don't give you any pressure back. So the greater I push into this Swiss ball, the pressure back at me is increasing. You don't get that with a static object. That's why the Swiss ball is absolutely paramount. So we're going to place the Swiss ball on the left hip. And now what we're going to do is set ourselves up. Now the agenda here, once we get ourselves set up, if I was to have my hips in line with the insides of my feet, it would make my spine angle very straight. What I want to do is encourage my left shoulder to stay in the same spot, and I'm going to take the strain and use my right foot to push my lead hip up in line with my shoulder. Then, with the golf ball in line with my left ear, I'm going to push the grip forwards so my arms and club shaft line themselves up. Now at this point, as soon as I start to move the golf club away, the pressure on the Swiss ball all of a sudden makes my lower half feel like it's not doing too much. Now, as I start to move the grip, I want to start to roll the Swiss ball. Roll the Swiss ball on a horizontal plane. I don't want the Swiss ball to dive towards the ground, and I don't want the Swiss ball to lift up. I want it to be as horizontal as possible. And when we do that, we'll start to feel how the right hip starts to tuck itself under me. This right hip now sits inside the right foot. And when it sits inside the right foot, it's important that I don't start to feel my top half backing up towards the target. I want to feel like my top half starts to move away from the target because I'm trying to balance out my lower half with my top half. you can see that I've now got my upper body and my lower body balanced out from a face-on perspective, just as much as I would do from down the line. So as I move the grip away, I'm making my top half feel like it moves away from the target, and I'm making my right foot feel like it's pushing the Swiss ball into the wall as I roll it. Now all of a sudden, as I get to this spot here, that right foot is loaded, but very differently to what we've seen in yesteryear, which is a shift across. I shift the weight across. Yes, statically, I've got more weight over here because I've got more body parts over here. But in terms of force, on the way down, it's going to drive my hips sideways, and we'll come on to that in a moment. The pressure that the right foot now exerts into the Swiss ball, if I was to take the Swiss ball away, all of my weight would then suddenly dump itself on my lead foot. And at that point, as I pull the club, I can start to rebound. Again, we'll talk about that at a later date. But what I want you to really feel here is how the grip and the center of your chest are moving at the same rate. They feel like they're moving off the golf ball, and the right foot is squeezing the Swiss ball. Now I have the opportunity to feel loaded in the right foot, but pushing towards the target, and my top half is away from the target. This top half moving away from the target gives me so much time to pull and unload. And if you haven't seen it, go check out this video up here where I show David this backswing to really great effect with not only his irons, but his driver too. So let's jump back on the mat and let's put that into practice. So now we've got the real sense of the separation between the upper body and the lower body, and the pressure points between the upper body and the lower body. So now what we want to do is make sure that the trail foot and the lead hand are starting to play off each other. And the way we're going to do that is by simply moving your lead hand from being above your lead foot and putting it above your trail foot. And you can see as I do that, my top half is moving across. So I don't want to move my hand independently. I want to take my hand and my shoulder to my trail foot. And as I do that, what I now do is take the golf club in my other hand and I push against it and squeeze the Swiss ball. Now you can see the shape my body is in. I take my hand, put them together. So at this point, I can now feel how low my hands are, how much pressure I've shifted over towards the target, and I've got my top half into forward bend. So you then start to feel how the hands are moving the upper body away from the Swiss ball, and your trail foot is moving the Swiss ball, or the pelvis, into the Swiss ball. Two very different motions with the upper body and the lower body. But the lower body is reacting through the energy through your feet, and the upper body is reacting through the energy through the grip. Now, when we get to the top of the backswing, that squeeze in the Swiss ball is the conduit that then starts to make you feel like you can use the left leg on the way down. Now remember, this is angular force. So when I was standing on the Swiss ball, the energy coming up through my right foot was angular. It wasn't vertical. It was angular. That allowed me to get that right hip to open up and get my chest to open up. Now, the problem that we have is that when golfers lift their arms up at the top of the backswing, invariably their arms and their chest move at the same rate. They don't have this disassociation between arm lift and chest. You have to have that. So when you get to the top of the backswing, what you're trying to sense is how your arms can disassociate themselves from the spine angle so that you can start to encourage more arm lift, because we've encouraged more around with the grip to then start to prop the arms up at the top. And that arm lift is part of you shifting the club head onto the upper plane. It's a network of using the energy through your feet and the energy through the grip. And I was explaining this to one of my skillist clients the other day. The feet are dictating what your middle is doing, and the grip is dictating what your upper body is doing. When you get those 2 points colliding and you get the bend in the sky to be very neutral, a very pretty straight shot, you'll register that actually there's not much to do down at strike. It's the culmination of using your foot pressures through your grip pressures. And my channel is all about that. Go check out these 2 videos here because they're really going to help you out. But this Swiss ball drill is an absolute killer for creating some great backswings that allow you to feel more hip rotation, more chest rotation, and the correct amount of arm lift for the amount of rotation you're making. When you're short in rotation, because you've bumped the energy across, you've kept your head over the golf ball, we end up with too much arm lift, which, as I say, really makes the path swing to the left. And depending on where your face to path is, you could either hit a slice or you could hit a pull draw. So this lower body and this upper body disassociation difference is crucial to making you feel that when you pull the club on the way down, you can get that path line, that face to path, all lined up and hitting yourself some pretty darn straight shots.
Are you tired of paying too much for your premium leather golf gloves? Head over to gxgolfgloves.com. These are gloves tried and trusted by elite amateurs and tour players alike. Enter my code GOODCOACHING to receive 10% off your next order. Go try them out, you won't be disappointed.
Thank you so much for watching. If this has offered up a little bit of something to your golf, do consider subscribing while you're here. And that, my friends, is good coaching.